Recently, the WWE just held their 2020 and 2021 Hall of Fame ceremonies, and once again, it was just a ceremony. No bust of the inductee or even ring gear will be placed in a building where people from far and wide can come and gaze upon the history of the company. Have you ever wondered why there isn't a physical location for the WWE Hall of Fame? Some folks think Vince doesn't want the hassle and responsibility of making and maintaining something that could potentially lose money. We're talking about a traveling flippy show that under normal circumstances would be touring the US and Canada and parts of the world with staged events, staged champions, and even recently staged crowd reactions. But every year they honor past workers with a greatest ever ceremony, but no place for fans to admire that past outside of the internet. I'm Skipper Bob, and if you'll indulge me and do what most of us do when we watch pro wrestling and suspend that disbelief for a moment, I'll tell you how and where there could be a physical WWE Hall of Fame, and more importantly, how it could work. Back in 1999, the WWF wanted to expand into the themed restaurant business like Hard Rock Cafe and Planet Hollywood. They leased out the Paramount Theater in Times Square and gave what you could call a half-assed try. Go check out WrestleLlama's Whatever Happened to WWF New York video. They explain everything, including low attendance on non-pay-per-view nights, high rent costs, and food that was just meh. It was basically just a restaurant that tried to cater more to the average New Yorker and not a wrestling fan. And at the time, the center of New York City made sense since WWF was known as the New York Company. In the lingo known to wrestling insiders, WCW was referred to as Atlanta, Philly was ECW, and New York belonged to Vince and his gang. And that goes all the way back to the territorial days. Now called WWE, rumors of a physical Hall of Fame have been around forever? One spot that was on everyone's lips for a short time was the former location of the NBA City restaurant at Universal Orlando City Walk. The owners moved out close to WrestleMania 33, which was also in Orlando. It never came to be, and now the small plot of land is home to the Toothsome Chocolate Emporium and Savory Feast Kitchen. Now, I know what you're asking, why open in Orlando, Florida, and not anywhere in the Northeast U.S.? Well, there's three major reasons why. Orlando has had a long history with professional wrestling, with the NWA, WCW, and WWF holding shows and even pay-per-views here. The 1990 Royal Rumble, the 94 Bash at the Beach, and 3 WrestleManias, if you count WrestleMania 36 as a performance center during the shutdown. WCW used to record weekly shows at Disney's MGM Studios. This would include the famous Rey Mysterio lawn dart from Kevin Nash into the trailer. From 2004 to 2013, TNA, now Impact Wrestling, would hold month-long tapings at Universal Studios' empty soundstage 21. And I can see the wheels turning with some of you, so don't get ahead of me here. Now, why did WCW and TNA record shows in sound stages connected to theme parks? Well, you could tape an entire month of footage in one night, and it helps keep the costs low with crews and travel. It was easy to get a full crowd as foot traffic was constant year-round, as it being, a theme park, and the small venue had an intimate and lively atmosphere. A lesson WWE did learn when they opened their third brand, NXT, at Full Sail University, which brings us to the third reason. WWE now has a deeper presence in Orlando with the aforementioned NXT, but also the head training facility, the Performance Center, and a large number of their performers live in the Central Florida, Tampa areas, since they would move to Orlando to work for NXT, and many of them just end up staying.
Yeah, I don't even live here anymore. Yeah, I moved to sunny Orlando, Florida.
So what does this have to do with a Hall of Fame? Well, to start, you remember that chocolate emporium from earlier? Let's start there, or more to the point, right next door at the Hard Rock Cafe and Live venue. Now, this would end up being the biggest hurdle to jump for this entire proposal, and yes, I'm suggesting Hard Rock move out of its current location. I know they may not be in a hurry to sell with Hard Rock stocks in a good recovery mode after everyone in the service industry eating a turd in 2020. But I feel that location is prime for a few reasons. Starting with its facade, it wouldn't need much of refurbishment, or probably even go harder on the Roman Colosseum look, because you know, wrestling and gladiators and such. Also currently, the Hard Rock Cafe is a dual location where it is half restaurant and the other is a 3,000 seat concert venue. With some renovation, it can easily become a 2-story museum. Knowing the current standing deals with Hard Rock and Universal, this does seem like a long shot, and it's possible that WWE has zero desire to return to a food service in any capacity ever again. Which is understandable because businesses that have had years of experience still struggle regardless of foot traffic involved. But we know of one recent deal that saw NBC Universal made with WWE to the tune of $1 billion. NBCU's streaming service Peacock now has the live broadcasting and video library rights to the WWE network in the United States. Plus, WWE has been a weekly staple at another NBCU-owned cable network, USA, for a good long while. We'll ignore the few years where they moved to TNN Network as they were welcomed back with open arms. So do you think Comcast is going to spend that crazy amount of money just for streaming rights? There has to be other ways that they can help promote the product they're financing and a cost-effective way to use the resources you already own. So if the Hard Rock location is a no-go, what's the other option? One just opened up, which we again don't have to go very far for. Back in February of this year, the Blue Man Group has been using Soundstage 18 right behind the Hard Rock Cafe for its nightly shows for the past 14 years. It's also the location formerly used by Nickelodeon Studios, and here's the selling point. That building in between stages 18 and 19 is the former control center for those old shows. If you've ever seen the Adam the Woo video where he sneaks backstage and captures footage of a number of different areas, you'd see there are offices, green rooms, lobbies, control rooms. By the way, don't ever trespass on a theme park property. It's one reason why Adam can't go on Universal anymore. But once the dust is cleared off and the tech is updated, Soundstage 18 can be renovated into a new live performance venue. NXT is produced out of Full Sail Live's 1,500-seat studio. Back when TNA was in Soundstage 21, they could sit around 1,200 people, but that was using a larger floor plan for the ring, and the entrance ramps were on both sides, so you can definitely get more people in there. Depending on technical limitations, they can get around 2,000 seats for NXT 205 Live, maybe Raw once a month or so. Also, they could hold press conferences and also have a backup venue should weather prevent them from getting to one location or, God forbid, another pandemic should ever happen. Special events could also be held there, such as a post-Raw SmackDown pay-per-view talk show, and maybe once-a-year events such as the Hall of Fame ceremony? So what about the hall itself? Well, right next door, as we mentioned, is Soundstage 19, one of several sound stages on property that get used for Halloween Horror Nights, storage, or it's where secret pagan cult parties go down. I don't know. I don't work there. Maybe never will after saying that. Instead of paying property taxes on a building not making money on its own, how about we put it to use and sell tickets? Wouldn't it be cool to walk around and see Kane's mask, Andre the Giant's statue, Ric Flair's robes, the history of all the belts used, ring gear, and other props used by the biggest names in pro wrestling? Set up a replica ring where fans can record their own promos to take home, hold signing sessions, and of course, the massive gift shop. So as you can see, there are some options here, some crazy and some not so outside the box. They think so. And if you're in the camp of people who think a physical Hall of Fame will never come to be, let me show you a clip of Ric Flair saying what he knows of the Hall.
That was one of my favorite robes, and WWE is actually in the process of building a Hall of Fame, a physical structure Hall of Fame in Orlando. It's been delayed too because of the COVID and that. But
now, Mr. Flair is really close to Triple H. Who would know something about this, as he's a top-level executive with the company? Did Rick overhear something and let it leak? Is this the mind of Ric Flair doing his own thing and living his gimmick? Is this a pipe dream that's as realistic as the sport itself, or do you think we'll see this in our lifetime? Let me know what you think in the comments. Guys, I've been Skipper Bob. I want to ask that you like and subscribe for more content like this. Thank you for watching.